All right. We have all of this stuff in resources now. So today we're gonna try getting an object to Hmm. Oh, okay. All right, so we have functionality for if it is a folder. What are we bodging? Is that a word? But I am trying to bodge a quick and dirty job, something done very hastily. Make it look good for the next day or two, and if it falls down after that, it's alright. Okay. Cool. You're such a scholar. That is literally what I'm doing. But I'm trying to make like our level editor consists of placing tiles in a three-dimensional space. So it basically works like Minecraft, except it's 2D. But I combine that with objects, so like characters and and tables and stuff like that all count as objects. And what I'm doing now is I'm trying to make it possible to select available objects from a list and then click inside the game and have it spawn new objects. That's what we're doing. And I already have it so that I can select them in this list, and the list shows everything properly that we've got available. And I can enter and exit folders. Now I just need to make it so that when I click an object, it becomes selected, and when we go into the map and we click somewhere, it appears. See if we can manage that. But what we need is, I was making something here, object placer tool. Here's what we're gonna do. On mouse button down, we're going to there is one thing we need. It needs access to the world. Do we have that at all? I don't think so. All right. Uh, Now the world needs a script as well, and we should call it world container. I believe. List. List of game objects called world objects. And I also want a public static world container Then we do control equals this. World objects equals new list. And this is so that we can properly access everything in the world. Because a reference needs to be stored to everything somewhere so that you can get access to it. Because that's how Unity works. You have to connect something to something else so that they all can like access each other. So what we're gonna do here is that all objects that exist in the world will be added to this world containers list of game objects, right? And and then we can just access the world container. If we need to interact with any of it. And this, the public static world container control here, that means that now if I type world container, world container dot control, then I can access everything in all world container scripts that are in the scene from anywhere. But we're only going to have one, so to do that now to access it. Please fix compile errors. It's just being a bitch. Usually does that. Come on. Now there are 2 world containers? What is going on? What? The file being moved world container.cs conflicts with the file in the destination folder assets. Would you like to keep both files, skip this file, or skip all files? All these buttons do the same thing. What does that mean? Keep both? And then it deleted this file? What? Oh, it copied that? Okay. Let's delete that. Does it work now? Oh, it's gone. God damn it. Come on there. I gotta... I need to post my my renderer in the Unity Discord and just have them tell me how stupid it is. I'm doing everything. I know it's bad. I know it's not good because I'm doing like updates and stuff. Now, what's the best way to add everything to this? Because I don't really want to have access to this kind of stuff. Because the door frame the door consists of the door frame, door, and mask. But all I really need is the door frame, because then I can just destroy the door frame and it'll destroy the door and the mask. Of course, I know. If it doesn't, then I can just go iterate through its children and destroy those if I need to. So I'm kind of thinking just having the world container handle itself, like on startup. It can do something like I can get component in children, but that's not what I want. I just want to grab all the children. I've done this before. But how did I do it? Isn't it something like transform dot get child? Dot child count? And then we do what? World objects dot add transform dot get child I dot game object. Directory not found. That's fine. Yeah. That's broken. I know. Current folder path is different, so we need to fix that. Now, this doesn't even make sense the way this is gonna be, because this is now gonna be like assets, resources, I think. There. Now, this works fine. Yeah, this works perfectly. So now the world container can maintain its own objects. At least for now. This has to change, I think, eventually, but for now we can do this, because we might be using too many objects, so we might need to use object pooling, and in that case we are gonna have to overhaul this a little bit. But I think for now we can just make do with this for the combat build. But once we need to have like full levels with tables and whatnot, and NPCs everywhere, we're really gonna have to be careful about just
how many game objects we have. So but it's easy. Object pooling is actually pretty easy, so I'm not worried about that. But first, bathroom. Really? There we go. Got some breakfast. All right. What next? Hmm. The level editor needs to have, just like it has this, it needs to have editor tool, editor object placer tool. call it that. I want to rename that. Hmm. Ah. Yeah, I'm just eating like 50 grams of butter. Yep. Let's finish it off. Wipe it off on my pants. When are you gonna play Tides of Numenera? You should stream Tides of Numenera for us. Uh, a devious little cheater. Well, like I said, it's a VN, so I just want to hear your little squeaky Portuguese accent with your little lisps and stuff that all of you guys have. That's what I did as well. Now we were just talking about CRPGs yesterday, and Eric was like, "What?" The other Brazilian, you know, he was like, "What? There are video games you like?" And I'm like, "Yeah, they're like 3 or 4." And I started like thinking about what CRPGs I actually like. I could list like 4. Like Kingmaker, even though it sucks, but it's still the best. At least D&D CRPG in my opinion. Tides of Numenera, Baldur's Gate 2, and even though I don't really want to call it a CRPG, Disco Elysium, but I can't really place a 5th. Like the only way I can place a 5th properly is if I just either go with Pillars or Icewind Dale 2. But they're both like, I mean, it is 5th place, so it's a bit difficult to pick. Icewind Dale 2 has a real proper full story, and the story is like, it's fine, it's serviceable, but it is 3.0 D&D, which is terrible. While Pillars actually has better gameplay, but it just ends midway. It's very sad. I think I've asked this before, but did you finish Pillars 2? Is it good? The ship combat is doo-doo poo-poo. Yeah, okay, but if I make it through Wrath of the Righteous and this fucking doo-doo poo-poo army system, then I think I'll survive the ship combat in that. Oh boy. I mean, I did like 1, so. Except that it's too short. Like, that. It's too short, and there are fucking Kickstarter characters all over the place. But they reduced the party size? I mean, that's fine. How big is the party, though? 5? Oh, that's fine. What's the party size in Tides? I think it's like 3. Yeah, 3. I really want to replay it so badly. First, I gotta finish East. I don't want to replay Kingmaker too. Three Kingmaker playthroughs on my YouTube channel. That would be great. And then I could do a Wrath replay right after that with the same character. Okay, so define chapter 1. I think we are in chapter 1 now, but maybe it counts as chapter 2. Like, I'm just past the prologue. We haven't done much. All I did before Dresden, or before Grey Citadel. I don't know if I fought a Nabasu, maybe. I did everything I could find. I went to all the areas I could see. Unless there was some hidden dialogue that I missed. Timing? Okay. Numbers Market Square. Hidden event timer. Oh, did not see anything like that. Oh, I don't have achievements. Yeah, I saw on Steam there. No, I did not see that. What are even the companions in Kingmaker? If I were to play it again, who could I even bring? How cancer would this party be? Amiri, chaotic neutral. Jubilos, chaotic neutral. Valerie, lawful neutral. So I can bring these three. Rigongar is evil, and he wants to have sex with me the entire time. I can bring Rigongar. Ekundayu is lawful good. I can't bring him. I can bring Knock Knock. I can bring Harim. I can bring Jathal. Well, and I can bring Canera. Yeah. That's a lot of stuff if I'm gonna play evil again. Yeah, I'm already planning this. I fucking hate Jubilost.
fucking piece of shit character. Of course you hate Nino. Nobody likes Nino. If you go to the wiki, the Wrath wiki, and you check Nino and you scroll down, everybody's like, this character fucking sucks. Like, I left her on the spot. Like, I sent her away. I killed her. And then there's like one person who's like, this is a fun character, because they're like 14 and probably a girl. Holy shit. Object to place. We need... Wait, is this not... Why don't I have mono behavior here? Just give me mono behavior. Who gives a shit? I need to be able to instantiate. I like companions that have some sort of character arc. Well, yeah, it's because you... I mean, I think you probably play the games for more or less the same reason I do, which is like RPing and the writing, right? The gameplay is less, and that's why you like real time with pawns, because there's less gameplay. I just also want gameplay. But no, you don't. Fuck you. There is no gameplay. But yeah, that's why I like Kingmaker, because there's a lot of RP options for all the different alignments and stuff. In Wrath, they've got deity stuff as well. It's pretty rare, but I saw it once, which is also nice. And that's also why I really like Disco Elysium, and also Tides. Because there's lots of different ways to RP and different paths to take. Honestly, Disco Elysium, when it comes to being just a role-playing game in that sense, is probably the best, in my opinion. It was really enjoyable, and there are so many different ways to approach everything, and based on your like your character build too. Like I'll never forget it. Like I cured my character's intense alcoholism, like worse than Charles, by thanks to my racist advanced race theory master John Luke, who taught me about not eating potatoes and and race pride. That's how I got over my alcoholism. It was great. It's really funny. And getting over the alcoholism is like the hardest thing in the entire game. It's so difficult.
There. I think I agree that it is. The Pillars 2 is better because it has turn-based combat. But yeah. D&D, D&D real-time with pause and turn-based are both bad because you can't really have bosses in it. Like, the bosses make no sense at all because there's no way to balance them properly. It's like whenever you fight like the last boss in a D&D game, there are two states that the boss can be in. It's I have 20 buffs and I cannot be touched, or I die in 1 second. Those are the two modes that exist. Because it's not really a fight otherwise. Usually it's just, can I kill it before this, like, because you're like level 5 and they're like, oh, here's a level 17 boss, this is how we're doing it. Because that's how that makes sense. And then the fight just becomes bursting him down before he one-shots your entire party. Because he can't miss. No, you can trip. You have tripping. In Pathfinder, you have tripping. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's nice to have those for video games, at least. It's nice to have those encounter abilities that you can use. I think the next CRPG we should play is Pillars. I already played Pillars ages ago, but I want to replay it again so I can get to Pillars 2 and keep my save. We'll see what we do there. That'll be like the third time I played it. I still don't want to do any of the DLCs like the White March at all. I hate side content DLCs. It might as well not exist. That game had actual mechanics to fights. Kind of. Have you played the original Sin with the armor unification mod, where they make you have one armor pool instead of the physical and magical? I might try it with that again, but otherwise the game is literally just stack physical fighters, have one archer, and then once you get through the armor, you shoot knockdown arrows until it's dead. The encounters are distinctive, I guess. What I would do if I modded Divinity, in addition to combining the armor scores there and just adding like magic resistance and physical resistance, is remove all the teleports. Remove all the teleports except from maybe like air. Air can keep teleport. Everybody else gets no teleport.
Fighters, no teleport. Rangers, no teleport. Nobody gets teleports. I want MMO raid fights in CRPGs. Yeah, sure. Except without 40 people on Discord. Then you're forcing everyone to spec into air? No. It does take a millennia. But the game is so bad because of the teleports. Because it like there is no game to it. There's no tactics or anything. There's no positioning. Nothing matters. You just, you just teleport around. Everybody just teleports to you. Like I get sure if there are enemies with wings, they can fly to you, but everybody teleports. All the warriors, everything, everybody, all the time. So it doesn't matter. Like everybody just needs to be a melee fighter because there is no range. Or everybody just be ranged, so you can just shoot anybody at any time. I think that's actually like the best build. Just play 4 mages. Yeah, because of the magic and the physical split on the armor, it's best to just stack one. Like sometimes you're gonna fight an enemy that has more magic armor than normal, but if you have a balanced party, that just means that every enemy has like on average more armor than you can output damage if you only had like 4 mages. Because if you have 2 mages and you're fighting someone who has 50 armor, that's like they have 100 armor compared to having 4 mages, right? So if you split your party into 2 physical and 2 magical, you have your DPS pretty much. Such a stupid fucking system. Oh, okay. Now here we instantiated this shit. Oh, also, I had gay sex with the dwarf. I will never. I will never forget that. The dwarf in Original Sin 2, he was cool, and I just wanted to be friends with him, so I did his storyline, and like I did all the friendship events with him, and then at the end, they're like, "Oh, if you wanna like hang out with any of your friends here before the end, you should do that now. This is your last chance." And I'm like, "All right, hey dwarf, dude, you wanna hang out?" He's like, "All right, you wanna go below deck?" I'm like, "All right, let's go have a beer." And that just leads directly to unavoidable anal sex with the dwarf. You can't skip out of it. There are no like backing out options at all. You're just done. So that was an experience. Oh, I'll leave the romancing up to you. I'm an incel CRPG gamer. I do not do that. I'm not gonna romance anybody in Wrath either. um, let's see. We need an object here. This should be temp object. I can't
I've already dismissed Ninio, and I don't know if she'll ever appear again. He was like, "Can I come with you?" And I was like, "Fuck you." Last position is vector 3 int. Dot position. The endless paths? You mean the dungeon under the keep? Yeah, more or less. I hate that. It's like Watcher's Keep all over again. I hate Watcher's Keep too. I don't remember. I don't remember that. That's a pretty bad encounter. That's a really bad encounter. That doesn't work, so... I wonder what I'd play. I did install it, didn't I? Do I still have it installed? No. So I do like playing the Psyker or whatever they're called, just so because you can mind read shit. I always find that kind of nice, but it's nice in the same way that I kind of feel like it's mandatory, like having talk to animals in Original Sin and games that have it, because it's like I'm missing out on dialogue. No, I don't have it installed. It's like Numenera. In Numenera, it's also minor, it's super mandatory. You gotta have that shit. Unlike, okay, but uh, I don't actually think it's mandatory, but I do think you should do a playthrough with it. But it is a role playing game, right? So you can just do a path that doesn't do that. I kind of like doing that, like on purpose. Um, like playing Pathfinder without persuasion on your MC. What was I thinking? Oh yeah. Yeah, but everybody knows guns do less damage than melee weapons. just like a little bullet compared to a sword. How can that do more damage? No sense. I have pillars. That's true. Oh wait, it's in GOG Galaxy. Maybe I do have it installed. Yeah. You got the power of a fucking flintlock. You shouldn't hit anything. Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Well, it doesn't matter how much you can aim if the gun shoots like this. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's not particularly different or far from our setting when it comes to technological advancement. We're doing kind of something similar, like early guns, really early guns, really. Where's my music? Technology levels are super inconsistent in this shit. How so? Because they've got certain technology that is way more advanced than guns, or what? All right, all right, all right. But I mean, guns. There's magic, yeah, of course. But then again, I don't think D&D or Pathfinder makes any sense. Like they should have had like magical. Like there shouldn't even be normal weapons because magic is so plentiful everywhere. Everything should just be like magical rifles and shit, like just shooting fireballs from rifles and whatnot. That should be just what everything is about. But everyone's just wandering around with normal swords. Hello, Brainoid. Yeah, but why would technology become unstable? I mean, I guess if the gunpowder gets just disturbed, you know, just like you're throwing it on the ground or something. I guess. But otherwise, I don't really see it. Because they're kind of treating technology like it's a magic force, right? Like that just doesn't work with magic. How combustion literally works. I wonder how the engine in your locomotive is gonna react to that. I guess. Okay. All right, I'm sorry. Um, this should be like that, and that should be that, and then here we should do it's super slow at installing because I'm also moving like 50 gigabytes of files from the thing. Quit using TweetDeck? Why would I? Normal Twitter is fucking cancer. It's literally the worst experience ever. If TweetDeck stopped existing, I would probably stop using Twitter, unironically. It's so bad. Of course I use dark mode. So here, this is a little bit tricky. How do we handle this? What happens if you destroy a game object? Does, like, if I instantiate this into temp object here and I destroy it, does this become null? You can. You just need to get better TweetDeck. So it's just a Chrome plugin. It becomes null. All right. Well, then it's pretty easy then. But I do need to remove the thing here. We need to do world container dot control dot world objects dot remove game object item. So if I do this and I just remove temp object, then it will remove that from the array, regardless of where it's at. And then we do destroy temp object. That. And then on get mouse button up, actually let's not do this. We can save that though. And well, no. We kind of have to do this. But I haven't added it to world objects yet. It's just in place there. So what we do on get mouse button up is we world container dot control dot world objects dot add a temp object. And we set temp object to null. We need to do an action there, but for now, as long as this works, we can implement undoing later. This needs to change, because here I'm setting the temp object to be input, or the position is set to be the input of the mouse position, but what I need is the input, the mouse position in world space, and that is done via the camera.world camera level editor dot camera player camera dot screen to world point. There. That should be fine. And then here, when we click a file, we are going to do level editor dot current tool equals now I'm confused. Oh, it's not. These should all be public. Why are these not public? Object placement tool. And then we're gonna set level editor dot current tool dot. Did you have your yogurt today? No, but I did eat like 50 grams of butter earlier on stream, live. Thank you for supporting my me. Here we're gonna set object to place, but why is that not public? Oh, because that's an editor tool. Man, I hate that. Isn't there any way you can access like the higher level stuff? Because here current tool is an editor tool, and the editor object placement tool is, it only inherits it. It inherits editor tools. But that means that from the current tool, I can only access the base inheritment class. I can't access this. But I guess I don't need to. Yeah, like I would like to be able to type, for example. No. I can't access it because just to simplify it, I have a pencil, and the pencil inherits tool. And then I have a variable called tool where I store the pencil sometimes. But then from tool, I can't access the pencil. I can only access the child variables. You can't cast it. That's the thing. I thought that would be possible, but it doesn't work. Like, I don't really know how I would cast it. Because if I do this, for example, here, editor object placement tool. If we're talking about the same thing here. If I cast it like this, I still can't access the object placement tools, or do I need to do it in some other way? Or do I need to make a temporary variable? Like, I could do that. It just feels shitty. I mean, that is an option. Put brackets around the thing you're casting? Hello, Skulltag. I've never seen that before. This? Still not working. Because you see here I can access it, object to place. I'm setting level editor.current tool to be level editor.editor object placement tool. And then I'm like, this is very easily fixed. I don't need to do this. But around the entire cast, what, like double like this? Now it works. That is super weird, but that is very useful to know. Thank you. Also, that is super secret. Holy shit. Well, the truth is, I don't even need to do that, because like I'm literally accessing it here. So I can just access it there again. Like, and just do that, right? But it wasn't about this specific solution. It was just about the concept of being able to access, you know, a higher level script that's inheriting from something. But that is very, very good to know. Yeah. Oh, don't give me Neverwinter Nights commercials. Never want to play that game again in my entire life. Now, what was I doing? We are in the window and we're trying to set the object. Where is that stored? It's going to be... You don't do anything but jam. Oh yeah, did you win? Now here's the tricky part. This is where we need to use resource load. Um, like that, I think. We won the Tiny Award, which is like you need to keep the game under 150 megabytes. Then we learned we also won the actual jam. Oh, nice. Congratulations. Keeping a game under 150 megabytes in Unity is hard, though. Did you guys use Unity, or did you use something else? It's like a normal build is like 150 megabytes. It's epics. Oh, okay. Oh, there. Okay. Great. Yeah, it's pretty hard to keep the file sizes down on these engines. Just for the smaller stuff. I have no idea if this works. So I guess we just try it. See what happens. That's how you bug test, or how you figure out what to do next when your brain is malfunctioning. So now we've got objects here. We can't do anything. It doesn't work anymore. All right. Cool. It's around 75 megabytes. Yeah. Okay, so does this break it? You do that? Yeah, okay. Okay. So it does work. It's just that switching between them breaks it now for some reason. So if we just try this right now, that works. And what happens now if I click a door frame? The object you wanted to instantiate is null. Yeah, what we need to do is... I think my path is off. And how do I do this? This is a little tricky. think. Is there some way to start the path from resources? Because here's what's happening. I'm entering the path here for item entries, or maybe I just need to do some kind of I don't know, like regex or whatever. Because this is the file path. It's assets / resources / editor prefabs, and this is for finding the file names of the prefabs, and this is only like this. I don't think this will even work in a build. Like this will be this is editor only stuff. So I need to be able to like read what's in resources. And I don't think you'll even be able to do that like this in a build, because everything will be in folders and shit. So how do I read everything that's in resources? From the project roots assets folder. Yeah, but it's not about loading file, it's about seeing like what's in there. See, what I'm doing here is I grab this folder here and I set this to be my root folder. So we're not in resources, we're in editor prefabs, which is inside resources. And then I read all the files that are in there and the folders, and then I write those out. But it is not for editor only, that's the thing. It is for the editor, but the editor is not in the Unity editor. It's meant to be in the build. So being able to read like what folders are inside resources, or can there not be folders in resources? Yeah. Yeah, I saw that too, but that... Because there might be other things in the resources folder, right? That's the thing. Nobody's posting about exactly what I wanted. Assets from folders contained in resources. There we go. application.datapath. In order to use these sprites, I use a method that reads this folder structure and saves its contents in a direct dictionary string list sprite, where string is accessory's name and list sprite is list of sprite arrays. To get these sprites, I use resources load all sprite to load, where sprite to load is a relative path to exact file, e.g. M4A1 barrels / normal barrels. I guess if you do resources.load, it's always going to be like resources is the root. So if you do a relative path from there, then it is just like a folder up, right? Yeah, but I'm loading prefabs. That's what I'm doing. I'm loading object prefabs, so there might be other prefabs that I don't want to load. Though, well, yeah, but I'm not sure we're on the same page. Because I don't want to find all objects. I want to find. I mean, I do. I want to find all objects inside a folder, but I also want to find all the subfolders. And finding the subfolders is the tricky part right now. Because I don't want to have people manually program them in. Directory info.get directories. Doing? I just assume that whenever I see an at assets that this is editor only. So this is probably not what we're looking for. Because the thing is, when the reason you have to use resources.load, right, is because everything is going to be packaged automatically into asset bundles, I think, or something of the sort. And then it just like internally has references to those directories and files. So when you use resources.load, it kind of understands internally where to go. Because I don't really think it has like an actual like folder structured like that internally. So I don't think like in a build. So I don't think you can just like find the folder after you've built it like that. But maybe there's some way. I'm gonna ask. Unless there's like load folder, like maybe folder has some kind of type internally. Resources, Unity. Loads all assets in a folder or file at path. Yeah. Seems screwy. Because what I want is, I want a list of the files that get loaded. So load all would be fine. But I also want to know what folders are in that internal folder, right? So, because I need to be able to browse to the next path inside the resources folder. And how do I do that if I can't get the folder names? Can't do it. Unless I hard code all of them, all the folders. Because the resources folder doesn't exist, so I can't use directory.io. The problem is that I can't use any non-Unity file systems because we're trying to load prefabs. So it has to be via Unity. Unless I make like a mock thing. The other solution is using asset bundles and just having a physical file structure with asset bundles in each folder. That is another option, and that option is probably kind of preferable. I did look into addressables a little bit yesterday, but I didn't really get it, and I don't want to rebuild like everything into addressables at this point. I'm gonna let Tyler read through that a little bit and see what he thinks first. We cannot convert byte array to game objects. I have no idea what byte array means. I'm not really sure what you're talking about, but you can't load .prefab that isn't part of the build. It has to be a part of the build in the resources folder if you want to load it in that kind of way. From what I understand. System type instance. Okay, what is system type instance? Type filtered for objects returned. What is this? Resources dot get built-in resources. That's not even part of this. It's something else. Is that some kind of mono behavior thing, I guess? This is a lot more difficult than I was expecting. Yes. Yep. I mean, all the game objects are just representation of code, right? So once you compile, it gets compiled. So I'm talking out of my ass because I'm not an educated programmer. I don't know anything about this, but I assume it's because it gets compiled, and you can't just load in uncompiled prefabs into a compiled program. That's the issue. That's why they have asset bundles, because asset bundles does that. It's just pre-compiled components that you can load in, and that's why I might have to do something with that. Just trying to think. Yeah, for sure. Um, like I can think of other ways to do this. I can, for example, I can just put all the objects in the resources root folder, and then every single object can just contain, because they already contain. Here, let's see. Like I already have something like this, like a file path, and I could just attach a file path to the files internally, and it would just need to be a string, right? And then I can just load all the objects in on runtime, and then I can just store them somewhere. And then when I need to display them, I just load a certain amount of them as the game objects that we've got in the list, because we're going to use object pooling there, so we don't have 10,000 game objects there. And then I just put them there, and then I can just kind of manage the folders somehow that way, even though there wouldn't be folders then either. But I would be able to generate the folders based on just iterating through all of the game objects that are loaded in and seeing what their path is and just seeing how many slashes they've got. So that is an entirely possible path, but it's very roundabout. But so is making individual asset bundles into individual folders to put into the build folder. I don't even know how to add separate folders with asset bundles into the build folder on build. I don't even know if you can do that. You probably can, but addressables are supposed to do something similar, like, but I didn't really understand. My brain was even deader yesterday than it was today, than it is today. I mean, I'm really at the mercy of there being something in Unity, but I don't think there is. You know, like resources or something similar. Asset bundle, manifest, asset bundle, asset bundle. We are probably doing addressables, but I just don't want to get into it right now. I want to, because it's not needed right now. We just want to get our prototype build working. So starting to mess around with addressables and reworking everything to work with that, it's just not necessary at this point. Even then, I could probably implement addressables for this one thing if necessary. From what I understand, you can use addressables in a non-addressable scene, but I don't know what they do really. Like I need to watch a YouTube video on it or something because I don't really get it. I feel like they're explaining it from the point of view of someone who understands exactly what they do. So I don't really. And that's a very common thing programmers do. I'm literally just scrolling through the Unity docs here. Yeah. Keep opening it. It's like low level, unsafe. It just keeps getting worse and worse. Okay. Unity resources get subfolders. How to load in the subfolders. Load subfolders. Subfolders in resource. Dynamic subfolder name grabbing. There isn't really a way to do this. Really, all that has happened is that the assets were processed and placed in the data files, like you said. Yeah. So we can't do it. We can't do folders without significant workarounds. I think we can do it, but I think for now we'll just skip it. Like if it's gonna be this much work, for now let's just load all the objects in a list, right? Let's fuck the objects or fuck the folders. I already have the functionality for folders if needed later, but I don't feel like it's worth it. The only reason I wanted the folders was for structure and like being able to sort things properly, like into regions or stuff like that. Like loading like a chair from Astria, for example. But there are still ways to do it. Like I can just load everything, and then I can create like an internal file structure. More or less. Because I can, like I said before, I can just put some script on the game objects and just have them have like identifiers, tags, like Astria, furniture, etc. And then I just write a little bit of code to handle making those folders and sorting them in that way. So it shouldn't be a big deal even if I want to do that. So let's just do resources all, or load all. Now. I mean, I can still have an internal. Well, let's not. Let's just all have them in editor. Have everything in editor prefabs. Keep a folder there for no reason other than there being a folder there. Oof. But you know what? It is actually break time. So I'm going to take a little break. I need to go and buy some pork for my mom, apparently. So I'll be back in 30 minutes or so. It's been 2 hours, so it's past break time. And my brain can tell. So I'll be right back. Okay. Whew. So, I guess we're loading in everything now. How are we doing that? We are going to Slytherin. So really we just need a public list of game objects called resource geos, I guess. And then we do resource geos equals resources dot load all string path. So that's gonna be editor prefabs. Type. How do you even do that? Resources load all. Type of. That. Now this is to array. Add range, like that. No. We're still getting a Unity object. I need you to return this as a type. Like that. Like that. Alright, good. What's a forward slash? Which one is forward slash? Do you look at the top or the bottom? What's forward slash? Okay, you look at the top. Okay. But basically, I think you need to use backslashes. What was it? Was it the opposite? All asset names and paths in Unity use forward slashes. Okay, it needs to be forward slashes. Okay. We seem to only have to do this. Like that. Okay, so we've got those. Now, here we're doing enter folder, but the thing is, we have to get rid of like all of this. Because we are not entering folder. Maybe I should just save this and then we make a new one. Now it should be super simple. I should really just have to do this pretty much. You don't even really need to use this item entries thing then. Alright, let's get this working. We have everything stored in here. I don't really like this, but sure, whatever. Then object pool, add instantiate object prefab. Yeah. All right, this is the file entry. That's what's getting spawned here. Now, what we're gonna have to do here instead is we are in the object pool. And we're gonna have to do, to get the label, it's gonna have to be resource geos I plus index offsetter dot name. That's what the label's gonna have to be. And here the icon is always just going to be file sprite now. Okay. And now here is the next question. We've got editor file objects. Let's see. See here they are buttons as well. And here what do they do when they trigger? They do select entry this game object. And what does select entry do? Does that in here. What does this work? There's activate. And here we've got all of this. Now all we need to do is just this. Yes. Let's just see what happens. I don't know. Nothing shows up. But we do have things inside here. But we are not using it properly. Let's see. For item entries, we're not using that anymore. We're using resource GOs. There. Now we have them there. Click it, it crashes. Here somewhere, I guess. Object to place. But here we've already loaded it in, so we don't need to do this. Object to place is just going to be not object pool, it's going to be resource GOs I plus index of setter. And that's it. The variable target of door hiding mesh has not been assigned. You probably need to assign the target variable of the door hiding mesh script in the inspector. Tile controller target. What is that? Target new sprite. All right. Fucking hate prefabs though. Anyway. The door hiding mesh. Instead of this having to be like that, we are going to do target equals main text. What the fuck is it called? Mesh test. What the hell is it called? Test tile controller mesh dot control dot player. Target character. And tile controller is going to be... We don't even need that. Instead of using tile controller, where am I even using that? I think we only need the target. Here we have a Y sorting mesh. The Y sorting mesh also needs a system controller, and that is that should be just fine. Try again. Variable target of door hiding mesh has not been assigned. Yes, it has. Oh, it's because we're doing it like that. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I getcha. We just spawned a new door. But for some reason it is not visible. It did not spawn where I clicked whatsoever. Because it needs to be, let's see here. Where's the tool? It needs to be input mouse position divided by 2. Or maybe not. So I think this might be it. No? That looks about right. Like this door is here, this door is there. Oh no, there it is. Let's spawn another door. I don't know what's happening there. There's a door. What about these? Ah. We've got doors. I don't like this. This is very, very fucking spooky to me. Um... Okay, I think I know what's going on. Shouldn't this be... like that? So that it triggers once? Because what this script, it makes all the objects sort themselves. That seems to work. Now, they're obviously still not spawning in remotely the correct places, I think. Maybe they were spawning in the correct place before. I don't think so. It's kind of difficult. to get the screen position to make sense when we're using scaled resolutions. Seems to appear relatively correctly, but this what is it called? Z scroll. What is it called? It's the mouse tile point Y. .z. That's what it is. Now, let's give that a try. It still gets spawned at minus 140. Oh, right. Nah, just do this. Do the screen to world point there, and then afterwards we simply do mouse tile point temp object dot transform dot position. This is a... Can you do this now? No. This is pretty nice. Gotta admit. That looks like a problem. We got some Z fighting or something going on here. Not quite working out right. This needs to be like all the way down here. There, now it's overlapping. Now it's not. There is some bug with the sorting script. Not working quite right. Well, that is nice. Ooh. But I think I'm happy with that for this week. That's a lot of progress. You can place doors that are kind of bugged. That's really good. I wonder what part of this is doing it. I haven't looked in this script for ages. Holy shit, it's big. But basically what it's doing is whenever an object moves itself, it checks against a list of all other objects. But it knows its position in the list, right? So what it does is if you move up, then it checks against the closest object that's above it. And if it sees that we are now above that object, then it moves itself in the list, and then it makes the objects that are below, or it should at least do that. It makes the objects that are below reiterate their sorting, I think. Because it's very difficult. Because you need to have, if you have a nested game object, like we're having here, you need to have every object have a different sorting order. Because otherwise things will get really weird. So an object that has 3 objects in total, 2 children, it needs to not only alter its children, but make place for them in the sorting order as well. The problem is, like, normally if they were just one object, they could be on the same sort order or the same layer. Pretty much. That would still suck. But there's gotta be something like this, and it's kind of heavy. I don't really know how I feel about it. But there needs to be some measure of Y sorting. At the very least. Let's try one more thing here. What if we take the door frame here? The door frame is sorting order 4, the door is 5, the mask is 6. Which door is that? It's that one. So what happens if we change this to 3 and we also change this to 3? It works just fine. So maybe it's not entirely necessary. Because I have a sorting layer here called a door layer. Now, if this was default, then yeah, then these would be fighting all the time. And I don't know, like there's no way to make it work correctly, but now that this is that the mask is its own layer or its own sorting layer, it should be fine. And really, I think only doors need to have this system. No other objects should need to have nested prefabs. I would prefer if not even doors needed that. But we can do that. But the way we need to do that is to have multi-layers on the tiles. Because that way I could just place the door frame on as a tile. I could place the the mask on the door is this is what it is. It's just pink, right? And then I use the pink to just hide what's behind it. Like I hide one layer of tiles behind it. That's all it does. So if I could do that with just tiles overlaying the other tiles, then we could have no objects that are nested at all, I think. And that would be really nice. Now, it's still really difficult with like tables and whatnot. You kind of need them to be objects because you need to have dynamic Y sorting. And the only way to not have Y sorting done is if you specifically make sure that your characters are a certain size and that your objects that you want to be able to walk behind are that size, so that you can never, like your head can never pop up high enough that it goes underneath the tiles that are actually at a layer above. That's the only way to do it, other than this, I would say. Not entirely. Actually, I could probably do it with tiles, but it's kind of hard. Because I could like Y sort the object, because the object exists within the tile matrix in a way via the rendering. So I could just draw like a table that's above a character, just like I'm doing here, you know. Like I can walk behind here, and I can walk in front of that. So this is technically Y sorting as well, and I could do that. But the problem with smaller objects is that getting them to exist like in a 3D sense like that might be difficult. The objects are just easier if it works. But yeah, we'll stop there for the weekend, and I'm gonna go and make tacos, and then we'll stream Pathfinder afterwards. So I'll see you later. Thanks for hanging. Bye bye.